Now, back here at home, the National Assembly will debate the impact of that war in Ukraine next week. South Africa has been asked to mediate in the conflict, with President Cyril Ramaphosa having spoken to his Russian counterpart on the phone this week. So where do our opposition parties stand on the crisis and South Africa's role? Well, reporter Monique Mortlock is finding out what we can expect in the debate in Parliament. She joins us now live from Cape Town. Monique, I believe you are with the Good Party. Its leader is actually part of President Cyril Ramaphosa's executive. But what is it that they think South Africa should do, or where should we stand in terms of what's happening in Ukraine?
Well, Masego, let's find out. I'm speaking now to Good Parties and MP Brett Hedden. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. As my colleague Masego mentioned, Minister Patricia de Lille is part of the President's executive, and we already know now government stance playing a mediator role. What is the Good Party's stance on what's currently happening in the Ukraine and Russia, and what do you believe should government stance be?
So, I mean, we've said all along that South Africa cannot simply be a neutral player. We have a history of emerging and negotiating ourselves out of conflict into peace. We've played a role in mediation in other parts of the world. Our president has himself played a direct role, for example, in the late 1990s in Northern Ireland conflict, in participating in mediating peace there. So the announcement or the comment that South Africa has been approached to play a mediation role is exactly what we've been asking for. Of course, there's a lot of information that is absent from that announcement. And in order to play a mediation role, you need both parties to agree that you can play that role. And so far, it appears that the president has only spoken to the president of Russia. And so we would expect that he would reach out and also speak to the president of Ukraine in order for us to play that role. So we welcome the idea that South Africa is going to play or could play a mediation role. It will require the president, I think, also to speak to President Zelensky of Ukraine. But we do have a history of negotiating peace out of conflict, and we need to put that expertise and that experience to use instead of just being completely neutral.
And to what end do you think this mediator role will it actually be effective in any way? Do you think that South Africa can be of any use, of any help in this global conflict?
Well, obviously we want the conflict to end. And there is a theory that the best parties to play mediation roles are those who have been in conflict situations before and who have negotiated themselves out of peace. So South Africa is in a unique position where we have negotiated peace out of conflict, a long drawn-out conflict, and so there is a theory that those are the best parties to play this mediation role. I can't predict what will happen, but we would very much like for peace to happen, for the war to end, and if the South African government and the South African president himself can play a role in bringing about peace, then that would obviously be a very welcome outcome.
Final question. Yesterday we heard the Ukraine's ambassador to South Africa saying that she would have liked to see more of a stronger stance when it comes to President Cyril Ramaphosa and his government basically condemning Russia's role in this and what Russia is doing, taking more of a sterner approach. Do you think that this is also necessary along with South Africa's mediating role?
I think most South Africans would have liked to have seen a more coherent response from our government, where they say this war's wrong, Russia, put down your arms and let's talk. So I think most South Africans would have preferred to see that kind of response, a very unambivalent or inambivalent kind of response. And so the ambivalence was unsettling initially. But the reality is, if South Africa is to play a mediating role, then it does need to take a neutral position right now. But I don't see how South Africa can play that mediation role until the president has also been invited to do so by the Ukraine. So there is going to have to be some communication between the South African presidency and the Ukraine presidency in order for that role to be played. Madiba very famously said around the Northern Ireland conflict that South Africa cannot participate unless all the parties agree that we participate as mediators.
Thank you very much. That was Good MP Brett Hedden talking to us about good stance, accepting the fact that South Africa is playing that mediating role, but also saying that the presidency should be making some more announcements regarding that. But we'll definitely hear more from the president on Tuesday when that debate takes place in the National Assembly. And just to quickly highlight, earlier this morning via Zoom, I spoke to the Freedom Front Plus's Dr. Groenewald, who said that his party is going to be questioning the president on this mediating role, wanting to know what exactly it entails, saying that the president shouldn't be taking, or government shouldn't be taking, a neutral stance, and they should be taking a more sterner approach when it comes to condemning what Russia is doing in the Ukraine.
All right, well, we'll look forward to that. Monique Mortlock, let's leave it there for now.